Welcome, friends and families, faculty, staff, members of the Board of Trustees, alumni, alumni, and parents, grandparents, and friends to these 135th commencement exercises of Northfield, Mount Hermon. Congratulations to you, the class of 2018, for earning the diplomas I am honored to hand you today. After the 10,000 steps a day you've taken on this hill to get you to this moment, you have earned these last few steps onto the stage, and you've done so with a fine spirit. The spirit of our facilities crew and staff has been as indefatigable as their energy in preparing all of this for us. There are nearly 350 NMH employees, 2/3 of whom are not faculty, who work every day to make sure we have what we need for teaching, learning, eating, sleeping, and playing. And they deserve our recognition not only for getting us ready for the pomp and circumstance today, but for providing us what we need to learn and live every day. And while you, class of 2018, are still their students for another hour or so, let us all join you in acknowledging all of your exceptional teachers who have brought you to this moment and who sit before you today. Your teachers need to also take a moment to acknowledge and thank the people who gave you to us for this brief period in your life and who have given much in providing this opportunity for you. So graduates, will you please join us in thanking your parents. Now, the privilege of graduating from this school is indeed something you have earned, but it is also something that has been provided for you by your parents and by people you don't even know. People who have given their time, treasure, and talent so that you can have this opportunity. This includes the trustees behind me on stage and past trustees in the audience today. It includes the tens of thousands of alums whose footsteps you follow as you walk across the stage. And it includes outgoing trustee and board chair Steve Fuller, class of 1958, who for the last time joins me in awarding you your diplomas today. Thank you, Steve. Before we begin in earnest, please take a moment to silence your cell phones, and families, you should note that professional photographers are positioned to capture today's important moments, so we thank you in advance for not obscuring fellow guests' views while you take photos during the ceremony. Dr. Lee Allen Strawn, our school chaplain, will offer the invocation.
Here, baby.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. These are the words of New England poet Emily Dickinson, who lived not very far from here. Hope, she reminds us, comes to us in freedom, like a bird in the spring, with a confidence that needs no verbal defense, and a joy that does not cease. Hope is the presence we will invoke on this special commencement day. because it has been our invisible companion throughout these many months we have lived together on this hill. It was with hope we first drove up Lamplighter Way in expectation of how this community would change us. It was with hope we looked forward to reuniting with friends and teachers after weeks of vacation. It was with hope that we persevered through challenging work and responsibilities, knowing that with each task accomplished, we were creating possibilities for our futures. Hope has been with us, not upon demand, but has alighted of its own free will, requiring no justification, yet gracing us with strength and beauty. And so we call upon hope, which first century religious leader Paul of Tarsus claims is born of our character, which in turn was born of endurance. Paul says, this hope does not disappoint. And so we ask this morning for hope's blessing upon the good work that will happen under this tent to award each of these graduating students their Northfield Mount Hermon diplomas in recognition of their endurance and character. We call upon hope to steady our nervous gait and comfort our emotional hearts. We call upon hope to remind us of our vision and commit us to our passions. We call upon hope to root us in community that sees beyond boundaries and holds hands across borders. We call upon hope to humble our pride and open our souls to gratitude. Hope is the presence we will invoke this day, for it is the day that is before us. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage our class of 2018 orator, Naomi Vanessa Christensen. Confident, compassionate, dedicated, loyal, and hardworking, Naomi has bitten off more than most could chew at NMH and looked for more. Rhodes Social Entrepreneurship Scholar, member of the Concert Choir, NMH Singers, Northfield Mount Harmony, the Jazz and the Stage Bands. Naomi somehow found the time also to direct a play, report for the Votes Project, and teach Spanish to local elementary school students. A staunch advocate for social justice both here and in her hometown community, Naomi is a force to be reckoned with. She wrote in her application to NMH that she wanted to embrace the additional opportunities here that were otherwise unavailable to her in her local school, and she has done so with the humanity and purpose we value in all of our students. Naomi.
Good morning. Good morning. I hate graduation. I've been avoiding him for the last 3 years. There's an awkward combination of excitement, anticipation, and nostalgia practically sweating from our pores. This is one of the few events in life where people are allowed to be unapologetically emotional, and that makes me uncomfortable. The hugs are too tight and the handshakes last too long, all in an effort to be sincere. Adults look at you differently, and the mother of my classmate, who I've seen a total of 4 times, keeps looking directly at me. I'm waiting for the moment after this is done, when my classmates, whom I've watched grow up slowly and then all at once, will look me directly in my eyes and say, "Congratulations, thank you, and goodbye." The event, as well as my speech, can be boiled down to those 3 words. The 3 words we'll continue to hear when we step off the stage, step off campus, and step into life. First is congratulations. Renowned artist Drake once said we made it. We've made it through SATs, all-nighters, 7 a.m. work job, and 10 p.m. sign-in. We've drudged our way through blizzards and storms to class, rehearsal, and practice every day for up to 4 years. We've learned and then taught the younger generations how to use their head, heart, and hand, and are about to receive a pretty piece of paper to prove it. The last time I quoted Drake like this was the spring of 2015, when my friends and I decided to walk to the Creamy for the first time. It was around 87 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius, and we were completely unaware of what we were getting ourselves into. I found that for the average Massachusetts, a 6-mile hike is like a walk in the park. But for a New Yorker who had never intentionally walked a single mile, I remember that trip as being one of the most difficult physical feats I've ever done at Invocation. Mount Monadnock doesn't even come close. Halfway through, when we were standing on the bridge that overlooks the Connecticut, it dawned on me that this journey was going to go on way longer and take a lot more out of me than I thought it would. By the time I got to the ice cream, I was honestly doubting if the whole trip was even worth it. The walk back, however, went by in the blink of an eye. We knew what to expect at this point. We knew when to keep walking and when it was time to stop and look over the river. We were tired, Chloe Chen had shin splints, and Carrie Kim had blisters from her ballet slippers. But we made it. In these last few weeks, as we sat in our rooms with migraines instead of blisters after our last game, last performance, and our last high school paper, we felt that same feeling 1,000 times over. I never doubted graduating. We expected nothing less from ourselves, but we rarely acknowledge our own work in this way. We may be too old for our parents to stick a certificate of achievement on the fridge, but today, we get to congratulate ourselves. Thank you comes next, as we wouldn't have made it without the help of others. My mother often complains I don't say thank you enough. She's right. I'll thank the student who holds the door open for me at alumni, or waits for me after dance practice when, yet again, I'm missing my left sock. But last year, when Janae Peters wrote me a letter to show her support after she noticed I was struggling, and that time when Alvia Valenzuela accepted my late paper when my only excuse was a headache, the words never escaped my mouth. It's not because I wasn't thankful, but because the words wouldn't come. I didn't think they were enough. So I'm choosing now to take that missed opportunity and hope it's not too late. Thank you, Janae, and thank you, Abiel. Thank you, Mr. Dowdy, for always asking me how my day went, and Charlie Malcolm for making B block my favorite block of the day. Thank you, Hugh, for making me write a senior oration in your Shakespeare class. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for calling me every week, even though I didn't always pick up. Thank you to my brother, my cousins, my grandmothers, and my family for supporting me and driving me around when I needed it. Thank you, classmates, for living with me, learning with me, and letting me grow into myself. I hope I was able to do the same for you. Lastly, I want to say goodbye. I'm not afraid to say goodbye because I don't think I know what it means yet. I feel like it's one of those things that your parents say you'll understand when you're older. I use the term goodbye loosely here because I know this is not the last time I will see the NMH campus or her teachers and students. NMH tends to follow you. And in about a month, Elise Castle and I will be going to a music festival, and I'm sure I'll see many of you again, sooner or later. Many of us are used to saying goodbye. I left home 4 years ago, and although my brother grew taller every visit, and my dad turned my room into his closet, home never felt too different than how I left it. No matter how many times I packed my bags and said goodbye, I was always welcome back with a calm hello from my aunt downstairs, as if I never left. Saying goodbye to NMH is different. Students who graduate can't sleep over. I checked. We can't visit Phi monthly without getting concerned looks from our old teachers, praying that we didn't become one of those adults with the words high school forever tattooed in the back of our minds, or worse, on our bodies. And when we do visit, NMH will not feel like the home we left. It will continue to evolve with new students, programs, buildings, and teachers. All you have to do is speak with the NMH alumni from the 50s, 70s, or even 5 years ago to wonder if anything remains the same at all. We know it won't, and it shouldn't, but that doesn't change the fact that I can't imagine NMH any other way, and I don't really want to. But in any event, here we are. And I don't know about you, but I still haven't quite grasped graduation yet, and I'm trying. We're all trying. It might take a while. Maybe it'll hit me when I'm driving past the brick pillars for the last time as an NMH student. Maybe it'll hit me in a week. Or maybe it won't truly sink in until I'm packing my bags another year for school, but instead of packing my usual NMH gear, I find myself attempting to stuff a mini fridge in the van. I'm not sure. I still hate graduations, forcing me to hold my composure and acknowledge that change is coming. Change is here. But I'm glad that we get this moment, specifically designed for us, students, our teachers, and our families, to say to both ourselves and to each other, congratulations, thank you, and goodbye.
The ritual of the spade symbolizes the importance of our work program, which, from our beginnings as a school, has involved every student in the practical support of the life of the community. Each year we call on the senior who delivered the spade oration at the opening convocation to pass the spade and its accompanying challenge for hard work to a member of the junior class. In turn, that student will deliver the spade oration at next fall's opening convocation. Class of 2018, Leilani Sanchez's oration this fall was direct and powerful. Give it your all at NMH and don't take any of this for granted. Words she has backed up with her own scholarship, her grit and munificence, her work on our judicial board and as captain of several athletic teams. Leilani and Amelia Simmons of the class of 2019 will now conduct the ritual of the spade.
Good morning and welcome. In the fall, during my initial spade oration, I asked you to think about 3 questions. The most important of them being, what does hard work look like to you? I told you that hard work looks like my mother, and throughout the school year, I've begun to think more deeply about my answers to the other questions. Now that I'm standing here in front of all of you and your families, I realize that maybe I forgot one of the most important questions. Who do you work hard for? Maybe you're like me, and you work hard to give your parents the bragging rights that they so deserve after the years of sacrifice that it took to get you here. Maybe you work hard for your brothers and sisters in hopes that, despite the fact that they know your true nature, they will still find a role model in you. Maybe you work hard for your friends who inspired you daily and are now leaving you to figure out where's the meeting point between New York City, Chicago, and Helsinki, Finland. And finally, maybe you do it for yourself, so that when you receive your diploma, only you will know the true weight of it. Whoever you worked hard for to get you to this point, you're here. In September, I challenge you all to find your own spade and plant your own legacy. As commencement will come to a close, the legacy of the class of 2018 that we leave behind here on this hill may be neither good nor bad, but uniquely ours. Therefore, it is time to pass on this challenge to the class of 2019. So, on behalf of the class of 2019, do you accept the challenge of the spade?
Yes, on the behalf of the class of 2019, I accept the spade.
I now invite Chaewon Carey Kim and Jacob Peter Mell to the stage to lead us in the singing of the class of 2018 hymn, Let Freedom Span Both East and West.
Please stand.
What's the matter? I am pleased to introduce our commencement speaker and to welcome back to campus Adam Fisk, Northfield Mount Hermon, class of 1994. Oftentimes I will welcome alums home, but in Adam's case I speak on behalf of our local community, including his teachers at Gill Elementary School, and those of us who live and raise our families on campus, particularly the residents of Upper South and Lower South Crosley, where Adam's mother was the dormitory head. So indeed, Adam, welcome home. Yes, home is where your heart is, but it is also where your student file is. through which, of course, I rummaged. Now, you all have read about Adam in the commencement program. So no surprise that he was a stellar student at NMH with massive potential, scoring off the charts on his SSATs on his way in from Eaglebrook School. Thank you for ultimately choosing NMH over Andover, Adam. And on his SATs on his way out to Brown University. It's instructive to you all that the handful of grades he earned in the B range for this future coder were in mathematics. His highest grades and accolades came from his teachers in the humanities, impressing even the most difficult to impress, retiring English teacher and word master Dennis Kennedy, who, in a grade report, confessed to being at a loss for the right words. "What can I say?" writes Kennedy. "Superior essays, careful preparation, meticulous attention to details, outstanding analytical prose of the highest quality." And then Mr. Kennedy ends with, "Don't drop the ball." So here's where I found something else in your file, Adam, that is worth noting for the young men and women in front of us. As commendable as anything in your file, you made it from February to commencement on a DP. Surely it was for something as innocuous as the incident you describe in your application materials as a ninth grader, wherein when asked to describe any disciplinary difficulties, you respond, quote, "The only problem I've had was when I was caught going to a nearby store to buy candy, which is against Eaglebrook rules." That must be his mother. But it's this sweet tooth for breaking rules that lies at the heart of Adam's providing file sharing and internet access for a couple 100 million people around the world. So when it came time to find the right high school environment for you, we have to agree with your mother, who writes in the parents' comments section of your application that, quote, "I think NMH has the very things that Adam feels he needs. A strong sense of and commitment to community, a clear concern for the whole person, the intentionality of the head, heart, and hand, and an ability to connect on a personal level despite the large size of the school. NMH is lucky, the world is lucky to have you doing just that. Connecting people on a personal level, despite political, geographical, technological, or socioeconomic obstacles, engaging your intellect, compassion, and talents, and acting with humanity and purpose. We are privileged to have you speak to us today, but we also want to help you with that. I did see in your file that the last time you spoke at your school's commencement was as the graduation speaker at Eaglebrook. A nerve-wracking experience you wrote about in your application essay to NMH. Quote, "I felt my legs shaking," you write, "seemingly rocking the whole platform. I was relieved that nobody could see them behind the podium except for the headmaster, school administration, and trustees. Upon stepping down from the podium and shaking the headmaster's hand, I realized that I had hardly let the event touch me at all. A personal defense system kicked in so that I wouldn't really feel the magnitude of the event. I don't regret the nervousness. I only wish that I would have let what I had done touch me more, truly letting myself look into all of those eyes." Adam, we join the hundreds of millions of people around the world whose lives are better for your work, for your head, heart, and hand. We're proud to call you one of our own and to let you know that our eyes are on you and we are already touched, as I know you are already touched by having you home. Adam Fisk. Peter, thank you
you so much for that amazing introduction. I've had the privilege and the pleasure of spending time with Peter and his beautiful family on a number of occasions. The first thing that struck me about Peter was what a great listener he is. Perhaps the most undervalued trait of truly great leaders. I immediately thought of what a phenomenal English teacher Peter must have been. I think NMH is losing a treasure here today with Peter's departure. And I'd appreciate it if you could join me in giving him a round of applause for all of his hard work. As Peter alluded to, I spend my time figuring out new ways to get around censors in countries that censor the internet. Countries like China and Iran, where the government has complete control over all network traffic coming in and out of the country. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I wonder if this guy can help me get around that dreaded time at 12:09 a.m. every morning when the internet is shut off in the dorms. And the answer is maybe. Come talk to me after. In spite of your right to freedom of speech being so brutally cut off in this manner, you have persevered. And you are graduating here today. That's a tremendous accomplishment. And if you would be so kind again, please join me in giving a huge round of applause to our class of 2018. As most of you are well aware, NMH's mission is to engage the intellect, compassion, and talents of our students, empowering them to act with humanity and purpose. I love that last part in particular, empowering them to act with humanity and purpose. In fact, I love it so much that I've decided to hop on the bandwagon and to make that my own personal mission statement as well. I've racked my brain and I can't think of a better one. So how do we do that? How do we live a life with humanity and purpose? I hope we can find some insights in the history of humanity itself, in the history of NMH, and in bits and pieces of my own personal history as well. To me, when thinking about the question of how to live with humanity and purpose, I can't help but thinking about the great arc of human history. Homo sapiens originating almost 200,000 years ago in Africa. Approximately 700 or 70,000 years ago, the worst of the last ice age drove the human population down to about 10,000. We almost didn't make it. This group, the ancient ancestors of everyone here today and of everyone on this planet, found a way to barely survive, and eventually to cross the Red Sea, and in a remarkably short period of time, to learn the art of seafaring, and to make it to Australia, parts of Asia, and eventually to Europe. When thinking about the struggles our ancestors must have gone through simply to survive, these present-day questions of nationality, immigration, and the so-called refugee problem seem utterly absurd. Today, many of us take pride in the United States as a nation of immigrants, myself included. But the reality is that our entire species is one of refugees struggling to survive thousands of years before nations ever existed, before there were ever lines on a map to cross. So the task before us is to carry on this great human experiment and to not just survive, but to thrive and to create the best world that we possibly can. Fast forwarding through history to the 19th century, NMH's founder, D.L. Moody, embodied this mission of living with humanity and purpose. He was the seventh of 9 children, and when Moody was 4, and with his mother about to deliver twins, his father died. From that point on, he was decidedly poor and was unable to continue his school past about the 8th grade because he had to start earning money for his family. Like so many in the world today, he never had the advantage of a high school education. He was quoted as saying, "My lack of education has always been a great disadvantage to me. I shall suffer from it as long as I live." When he eventually became a prominent preacher, he made sure to right this wrong for future generations and to raise money from prominent philanthropists to create Northfield and Mount Hermon as places that underprivileged students could come to get a quality education. For much of NMH's early history, you actually were not allowed to attend if you were not poor. Moody saw NMH as a place not just for students from low-income families, but as a place for students of color from around the world. He once gave a speech condemning the growing use of the word heathens to describe people around the world who did not believe in Christ. And he asserted that many in China and Japan in particular lived up to Christ's words far more than many so-called Christians. He also actively recruited Native Americans to this campus to give them the advantage of a high school education. This legacy is woven into the fabric of NMH and endures to this day. In the most recent alumni magazine, I was inspired by the story of this year's holder of the spade, who we just saw, Leilani Sanchez. Leilani told the story of growing up in Springfield, Mass, and of watching her single Puerto Rican mom get home at 4 a.m. from her first job, only to wake up at 8 a.m. to go to her second, clutching her cup of coffee. She spoke of how they would make the best of it when the electricity and the heat were cut off. Leilani is moving on to Columbia next year, the first person in her family to go to college. And she is the type of person D.L. Moody built NMH for. Talented women like her have the opportunity to ultimately ascend to the upper echelons of power and to change the world as we know it. My own first experience here was not with NMH, but with the town of Gill, where I attended the Giving Tree Preschool at the ages of 4 and 5. In fact, my great preschool teacher, Betsy Evans, is here with us today, as is Peter Johnson, one of my best lifelong friends and a classmate of mine at the Giving Tree. Years later, I returned to Gill, as Peter mentioned, when my mom took a job as the dorm head of South Crosley. She took the job not so much because she was passionate about guiding high school students, but really because the local school, Gill Elementary, was the best school in the area. She was a single mom, and she wanted to give my brother and me the best possible education. And she did. In fact, my still beloved 5th grade teacher, Mark Silverman, is also here with us today. I cannot think of a greater way to live a life of humanity and purpose than to devote one's entire professional career to educating the next generation, as Betsy and Mark have done. This is particularly true in the town of Gill, one of the poorest towns in one of the poorest counties in all of Massachusetts, with children who are distinctly underprivileged in many cases. Thank you, Betsy and Mark. I would also like to recognize, as others have done, the incredibly dedicated teachers here at NMH, who are the backbone of this institution, and who are the most vital piece of the gift that D.L. Moody has left for you. They have worked incredibly hard to bring us to this day. Thank you. Many of my fellow classmates at Gill Elementary later went on to attend NMH with me. And they have been my lifelong friends ever since. When I polled my fellow alumni about what really made a difference to them about NMH, they all had the same answer: the friendships that they had made. So I want you to take a moment to look around you at your fellow classmates and your hardworking teachers, and to soak in the magical time this truly is. Many of these friends will support you through your inevitable falls and struggles. They will also share your joys and your triumphs. For the past several years, I've planned frequent reunions with that same group of friends, where we all stay at the same house together in Vermont, kids in tow. My only regret is that it took me 20 years to plan those gatherings. Don't make the same mistake that I did. Do it sooner. Returning to my mom, the fact was working at NMH was an aberration for her. My mom, brother, and I moved to Greenfield from Austin, Texas, after my parents had separated. My mom chose Greenfield after looking at programs around the country and deciding that the best work happening anywhere in the U.S. was at the Franklin County Energy Project, a nonprofit devoted to taking advantage of local renewable energy resources to make the county of Franklin County energy independent. They very likely would have succeeded in that endeavor, if not for Reagan getting elected, which accompanied him pulling all funding from alternative energy. And if not for the local utilities using all the power at their disposal at the state level to scuttle the effort. This provided an important early lesson. When you try to create bold changes, most of the time you will fail. But that failure is expected due to the very boldness of the endeavor. Every once in a while, you will succeed. My dad and stepmom's pioneering and dedicated work on sustainable building over the past 45 years similarly taught me the importance of perseverance and of doing whatever was necessary to push a movement forward. In my own work, I focus on the issue of internet censorship. Today, over 2 billion people in the world do not have access to the day-to-day information you and I take for granted, with sites such as YouTube, Google, and Facebook routinely cut off. When you live with the privilege of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, it's almost impossible not to be blind to a world where people do not have access to the truth and are scared to express their opinions for fear of imprisonment or in some cases even torture. To address this problem, my team and I work on Lantern, a tool that allows people living in censored regions to experience the internet as if that censorship did not exist. We take pride in having a big impact, with over 60 million downloads globally on desktop and mobile devices. Most of my team works under pseudonyms to protect their identities, with names like Josie's, Ox to a Cart, Wolf, Percy, and Faulkner. And they're all incredibly dedicated to this cause of ending censorship around the world. In most cases, even I don't know their real names. Our day-to-day efforts are far from glamorous, however, as we frequently pull our hair out trying to diagnose some new network abnormality we're seeing somewhere in the world, some new attack on the free flow of information. To me, this is a largely overlooked aspect of this quest to live a life of humanity and purpose. Most of what we do is simply hard work that you usually would prefer not to be doing. But the willingness to tackle those less glamorous details is absolutely essential to success. Ox on our team includes a quote from Marge Piercy in the signature of every email that he writes. And I think this quote captures that sentiment well. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. If you could be lucky enough, as I am, to have an entire team that takes that same attitude and that does its best to pull in unison in spite of constant failures and new challenges, you can accomplish great things. On New Year's Day 2018, the resilience of our team and of our technology was put to the test. Most of us were just returning from Christmas vacation, and both Ox and I were awaiting the birth of our new baby girls. Around December 31st, Ox sent a message to the team, making us aware that things seemed to be heating up in Iran. A day later, he sent a note saying that his daughter Phoebe had been born and that he would be starting his paternity leave. We all sent our hearty congratulations, feeling confident that the rest of the team could fill in for the temporary loss of one of our best and most indispensable programmers. In normal times, that would have probably been true, but quickly, times became abnormal. That same New Year's Eve morning, I awoke to a message on WhatsApp from a good friend in the Iranian activist community, whom I'll call Reza. Reza was sending me an end-to-end encrypted message asking me to get in touch ASAP. I called him right away, and he told me that Iran had become a powder keg, with protests against government policies erupting all across the country. The government had started censoring even more sites and had blocked the popular messaging app Telegram. I told him I'd check with the team and we would do it with whatever we could. Reza was an old friend at that point, and we had worked with him extensively. When he sent out a call for help, we took it seriously. I connected with my team about what we could do. Within a few hours, Josie's had lifted all data caps for all users in Iran, giving them unlimited access to the free flow of information. As usage in Iran increased, we started launching approximately 1,000 servers every day to provide Iranians with continued access to the open internet. By January 3rd, our daily users in Iran had gone from approximately 300,000 to approximately 3 million in the span of 4 days. Behind the scenes, we were absolutely freaking out. We had never had to scale our infrastructure so quickly, and key pieces were breaking down. We didn't have the powerful ox to help pull us through the mud. Meanwhile, my own wife was 9 months pregnant, and we were continually getting false alarms, thinking that this was it, and that we should get in the car and go to the hospital. One vital component of our technical infrastructure in particular was completely failing. It was potentially a turning point in the history of a nation, and our technology that was designed to help simply wasn't working. We quadrupled the size of our servers and launched hundreds of them to meet the demands, and it still didn't work. Nothing seemed capable of keeping up with the massive volume of traffic, and eventually we had to rewrite that entire component in a new programming language without any of our normal testing and vetting, and to deploy it live. Finally, after several days of providing service that was less than stellar, it worked. I had taken the unusual step of announcing our lifting of the data caps on Twitter, and the responses were some of the most gratifying moments of my professional career, and I think relevant to our theme here today. One person wrote, "This is the meaning of humanity. Thank you on behalf of all Iranians." Another, "Iranians will never forget." Finally, another used the Iranian expression for deep gratitude, "Your breath is warm. We made it through, but just barely. The episode reminded me of another of my favorite quote of mine from Mike Tyson, who said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." That really captures much of the work that we do. We're basically beaten to a pulp over and over again. The joy is in continually getting back up and in somehow grinding it out to make a difference, and in continually planning and preparing for the next episode. In spite of the many global challenges facing your generation, I am overwhelmingly positive about the future and about the lives that lay in front of you. Many of you were born in the year 2000, and I suspect that most of you will live to see the year 2100, as life expectancies around the world continue to rise. You are the true children, and now adults, of the 21st century. I firmly believe this century is going to be an amazing time to be alive. Over the past 20 years, the number of people living in extreme poverty has been cut in half. While it is true that today approximately 5 million children under the age of 5 die each year, largely from preventable diseases, 10 years ago, that number was 10 million. We are also witnessing a global decline in the birth rate, particularly as child mortality rates fall. The result is that you will almost certainly be alive for the leveling off of the global population, the end of global population growth. If you combine this with the continued decline in the poverty rate, in all likelihood, you will live in a world that continues trending towards greater equality, less violence, and a better overall quality of life for everyone on this planet. The task at hand is to accelerate these positive trends while facing the big problems such as climate change head on. As the graduating class of 2018, you have been given a tremendous gift, a gift that D.L. Moody envisioned for you so long ago. You have the education that he was never able to have. That alone makes you incredibly privileged and powerful. The challenge before you is to not let that privilege blind you to the inequalities of the world, and to forge onward with this great human experiment started by our forebears in Africa so long ago. I cannot imagine what the world will be like at the end of your lifetimes, around 2100, but I feel confident that you will succeed in making it a beautiful one. If you also stay close with your friends and guide each other and love each other along the way, I feel confident you will not just be fine, but will thrive. I'm sure D.L. Moody would approve, I wish you Godspeed and good luck. Thank you.
Adam, thank you. Thank you for embodying everything that we talk about here at this school. And I will share his email address with you all when you go off to college and you have questions about internet service. Will the candidates for the diploma please rise and present themselves at this time? By the authority of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and in recognition of your successful completion of the requirements set by the faculty, I award you this diploma and admit you to the distinguished company of the alumni and alumni of Northfield Mount Hermon. You may be seated. And now, will the first row of candidates please come forward as their names are read by their class advisors, Angelita Castagnon and Craig Sanford.
Amanda Marie Alto. Bolo Daniel Achor. Melissa Catherine Alexander. Rochelle Anshui. Andrea Baruch. Adele Bihar. Laura Elizabeth Bertrand. Anita Bezbogina. Sekou Amadou Bolden. Charles Benetti. Kemalat Unapaluk. Gemma Esther Borapeli. Alexandra Holiday Rook. Caroline Macaulay Brown. Catherine Mary Byrne. Catherine Taylor Burns. Samuel Anthony Calagione IV. Samuel Alexander Kalman. Veronique Leandra Campbell. Elisa Joan Canny. Lena Marie Carr. Simon Chamberlain. Krill Chen. Hui Chen. Jenny Xiang Chen.
Roxanne Helene Chopin. Naomi Christensen. Shiana Lee Cohen. Daniel Cronin. Axorn D'Souza. Allegra Bell Di Virgilio. James Leander Forbes DeMine. Gianni Christian Demersky. Lucy Monroe Desmond. Aiden Donahue. Taylor McKinnon Donnelly Minshall. Elian Gustavo Durantes. Peter Francis Dowdy. Kendall Long Downing. Alexandru Dumitriu Calcoana. Christopher Dye. Adrian Eastman. Jillian Valentine Evie. Evan Egger. Jonathan Aaron Farrell. Eleanor Fellows. Gavin Flynn. Lila Catlin Flynn. Ethan Shane Foster. Talia Fountain.
Eric Patrick Katam Fournier. Laura Angelica Franceschi. Davis Franks. Jack Freeman. Joshua Chafee Gamble. Seamus Garland. Eric Green. Sonia Isabel Green. Ketchum Halsey. Benjamin Thomas Hamilton. Charles Morel Hanna. John Hayes Jr. Sean Heffron. Lane Henry. Catherine Hexter. Austin Ho. Emily Taylor Houston. Ozioma Adora Ikejiani. Zoe Alexa Jacobs. Sophie Solomon Jones. Dameli Karieva. Elise Casa. Kyle Daniel Kazaroy. Anna Hunter Kennedy. Toyesha Katau.
Yasmin Linnea Katal. Andrew Kim. Shaewon Kim. Sujung Crystal Kim. Galen Shaw Kingston. Noah Kirkwood. Stacia Rose Kolodziejski. Claire Kozub. Megan Kulkarni. Erin Marie Kuhler. Helena Lana. Nathan Lashesky. Anna Linnea Lebedev. Jiwon Michelle Lee. Heidi Lucinda Lee. Anna Abigail Lechner. Isabel Amber Lewis. Catherine Angharad Lewis. Zachary Morris Light. Erin Michelle Lipson. Miriam Lipson. Isabella Natalie Lombino. Noah James Long. Allison Stetson Lopes. Victoria Lozano Escada.
Alfred Dashel Lessenhoff. Catherine Ann Majeski. Eve Kindig Mansfield. Anna Wilson Martin. William Martin Jr. Francis Martinez de la Cruz. Nathan James Master Alexis. Wendy Suzanne Matt. Abigail Maria Mamie. Alyssa Emma Mamie. Sophia Jean McLaughlin. Jacob Peter Mel. Sydney Felicia Mitchell. Kylie Autumn Munkovich. Rachel Hallowell Moores. Olivia Ann Hope Morrison. Vineet Mainani. Seho Myung. Danielle Julia Nassau. Anna Igorevna Nefenzenkova. Joshua Michael Nelson. Hung Huyen. Molly Ann O'Brien. Margaret Gertrude Orr. Shiv Parikh.
Vanshul Hatu. Kanapat Ratana Mala. Isaac Mateo Pope. Napatson Prajampong. Alicia Nabila. Ali Haojin Singh. Kevin Justin Reyes. Brett Wizenz. Dalton Robert Rice. Liza Bowen Connolly Reese. Julia Isabel Victoria Robertson. Thomas Frederick Rodriguez. Mira Sachdeva. Samad Sadiq Adamu. Leilani Nicole Sanchez. Amanda Rose Savinsky. Aiden Butler Shulkoff. Jacob Samuel Schultz. Noah Scott. Aiden James Shanahan. Jack Charles Shearer. Noah Shelton. Tian Shi. Tyler James Robert Silby. Grace Victoria Smith.
Benjamin Anthony Stefanini. Brooke Elizabeth Stevenson. Katerina Stone. Samuel Alec Stone. Alisher Sotansipam. Colton Thorpe Sy. Jason Yinhun Ting. Samuel Harold Tober. Taves. An Sun Tran. Ferdowsi Uddin. Kyle Matthew Balaket. Max Antonius Harrison Van Baren. Valeria Villanova Galucci. Jorge Villa González. Stephanie Mary Vogue. Hong Han. Logan Akbar Wayne. Ryan Patrick Walsh. Yupeng David Wong. Elizabeth Ware. Zachary Weiss. Mary Johnson Wells. Calvin Charles Whipple. Cameron Elizabeth Williams.
Blake Reese Wintermute. Arthur Worthington. Thomas Wu. Naruto Yabuki. Eliza Brill Yeager. Miru Yang. Ryan Cho Lee. Gary Yip. Aaron Boyd Zeka. Ami Dragon Zunichai. All right, all stars, rock stars, shooting stars, Are you ready to get your game on and go play? Congratulations and welcome to the Alumni Association. Graduates, Laura Bertrand and Bolo Achor, to come to the stage and lead us in the singing of Jerusalem. Now Dr. Strawn will offer the benediction.
Northfield, Mount Hermon, class of 2018. Hear these words of blessings even as you hold tight to that new diploma in your hand. With your diploma, you have been given words that certify your growth and abilities. With your diploma, you have been recognized for your intellect, appreciated for your compassion, and honored for your talent. But where you have really made your mark is in the hearts of the ones sitting next to you, those in front of you and on this stage, and with the many family members and friends who are here to celebrate you today. Know that you are valued. Know that you are capable of great things and that your presence changes the lives of others. Know the goodness that is within you and know that the world needs it. Go forth from this place with hope and courage. And may the peace that passes all understanding be with you now and forevermore. Amen.
As we all remain seated, Director of Choral Music Sheila Heffernan will lead us all in the singing of the Northfield benediction.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord take his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. And be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace, and give thee
On behalf of Northfield Mount Hermon, I thank all of you for sharing this marvelous occasion with us. Lunch for graduates, guests, faculty, and staff is available at specific locations following this ceremony. Please see the back of your program for instructions where to go. Please remain seated during the recessional of the stage party, then the faculty, and then the graduates of Northfield Mount Hermon class of 2018. Safe travels home, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.